What's going on, guys? We are now at the 1-year anniversary of my brain surgery. So for those of you guys that are just tuning in or just learning about my story for the very first time, like last year, actually it was 2018, end of 2018, October, I got in a serious car accident where I was running off the freeway. My car spun around 4 times, bashed in. I had to crawl out the back window, and my knees were pretty tore up. And it was like a week after where I told my doctor, I was like, hey, my knees don't feel right. Can I get in there and get an MRI, check them out? He said, sure, scheduled it. So we scheduled my MRI, and I go to show up, and I've never done an MRI before, so I don't really know what's going on. But I show up, and they say, okay, tell them, give me a little walkthrough on what's going to happen. I said, okay, the tube's going to go from above your head to about the middle of your chest. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's a lot of real estate between my neck and my knees. You sure that's right? He's like, oh no, your doctor scheduled it for your head, for your neck. So me being me, I just thought okay, no big deal. We'll just do this, I'll get it done, and then I'll reschedule one for my knees. And sure enough, we ended up getting the results back, and nobody even told me about the results. I was doing the chiropractor, or I had a chiropractor visit, and I was going to the chiropractor multiple times a week because my body was still in shambles pretty much, and I was getting adjusted, and they talked to me about what they saw, and they didn't say anything about anything. They just said, oh, you got a couple of vertebrae, and very nonchalantly they're like, oh, and looks like you have a mass it's attached to your cerebellum. So me being me, I thought oh, well, no big deal, whatever, I don't feel bad, I don't have any symptoms, can't be anything. And it wasn't until the next week when I went back into the chiropractor's office where there was a different person who was reading my results, and she was like, yeah, it says you have actually a 3 to 4 centimeter mass that's attached to your cerebellum or near your cerebellum. It's probably nothing, but you might want to get that checked out. And when she said the size, when she said that it was attached to my actual brain, that's when I started really freaking out. And I know for a lot of you guys don't really see me getting emotional, getting down, or being concerned about these things, but it was at that moment where things became real. And I ended up scheduling a brain MRI, and a week or 2 after, and came back that I ended up having a brain tumor, and it was an emergency brain tumor that we needed to schedule surgery right away because it was actually pushing against my brain stem, and had it gotten any bigger, it could have left me paralyzed. It could have done extremely long-lasting effects that could have left me really, really it could have made life really, really hard for me. But we found it, and to make the story even crazier, this complete act of God that, I had a head MRI, neck MRI, and when I should have had a knee MRI, and we found this thing in dire times. My sister-in-law worked as a nurse, but I didn't know who she worked for, and we ended up coming to find out that she works for a neurosurgeon whose father actually wrote the whole procedure on how to remove the type of tumor I had, an acoustic neuroma. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what an acoustic neuroma is, it's a benign tumor that is attached to your acoustic nerve, your vestibular nerve. So acoustic nerve affects hearing, vestibular nerve affects balance, and your facial nerve. We go in, we find out that I have this 4 centimeter tumor. My sister-in-law works for one of the top guys who does these procedures at Barrow Institute in Arizona. So we go over there, we get an emergency surgery, and I'm on the operating table for 12 hours. It was a 12-hour surgery. And a lot of people don't understand this. They see me kind of moving, they see me playing, and they don't realize the lasting effects that this surgery had. But when I got out of surgery, I actually, because I was laying in one spot for 12 hours, my left glute actually died. So it was swollen, probably the most excruciating pain I've ever had to deal with for 3 months after my surgery. And I had this fluid, muscle that was just pretty much liquid that I had to rebuild. It's still dead muscle that's in my left glute. And on top of that, I'm now deaf in the right ear, and I'll be deaf for the rest of my life. My balance is the same as like somebody in a nursing home. So like before the surgery, I had awesome, amazing balance. And because of like what I do every day on the court and what I've done in the past, like because of my athleticism, I've been able to make up for a lot of it, but I'm nowhere near, where I was. So the balance is affected, my hearing is affected. Like, it's been a complete struggle to do anything in large groups because I can't pick up on sounds or where sound is coming from. And it's very hard. Like if you're talking to me to the right, like I'll look left and have no idea who's speaking to me. So that's been something that's been so emotionally frustrating, and it's been a struggle to have to deal with over this past year. On top of the fact that I have tinnitus, which is like a loud, high-pitched tone that just plays constantly. So in my head, I'm hearing this like zzz playing out constantly. So like talking to my family at home, or like I said, in large groups, like it was so frustrating for me. Like literally for the first 9 months, like I'm literally at a year mark. Today, I'm at a year mark for my surgery, and it's still not normal. Like it's still annoying. Like I still don't see it becoming any easier. I still run into things like walking up the steps, I trip, walking through doorways, I hit doorways. Like my balance is awful, my hearing is awful. Throughout this whole experience, what I've begun to realize, like everything happens for a reason. And it's been such a blessing for me to be able to take this situation that happened to me, this uncommon situation. And for me, with faith being such a prominent thing in my life, I've had this unwavering faith that everything was gonna be okay. I know that things could have been way worse. If I wouldn't have been able to find the tumor, a lot worse things could have happened. And it's because of those moments where it gives me praise, it gives me opportunities to worship for the things that I do have. I now have a story, literally a near-death story that I can tell other people who might be going through things that are worse than what I'm going through, or maybe smaller than I'm going through, but it gives them the necessary push to be like, you know what, you can flip this to be something that's great. And I was able to get back onto the court literally a couple weeks after the surgery, get shots up, hang out, be on the court and active, and like obviously not be able to take any contact or do anything that I would have normally been able to do, but I wasn't allowing it to defeat me. And that's something that, everybody who, sees me on social media, they're like, oh man, nothing happened to the guy. Like, he hasn't been, worrying about anything or dealing with anything. Like, crap, I was playing Julius Randle in one-on-one literally 8 months, 7 months after my 6 months after my surgery. Yeah, so I didn't start playing like live one-on-one until like the 6-month mark. And my doctor, a neurosurgeon, actually told me that I couldn't play, like compete or like body people up for like a year. So here I am saying like, you know what, being a stubborn athlete, I'm gonna get back faster than ever. I'm gonna overcome all the odds. I'm not gonna, get knocked down. And that helped me push forward. And if any of you guys are going through things, like understand that you wanna be smart about certain situations, but never let a negative situation affect the positive outcome, the opportunity for positivity out of that situation. So for me, like I got back and started playing live 6 months after my brain surgery. Like that's something that is so, like looking back, I was like, dang, like that's impressive. Like I take I'm not a prideful person. I'm a very humble guy. But like that, like I take a lot of pride in that I was able to get back on the court and show that, I'm not gonna let any handicap, like me being deaf or having lack of balance, like anything affect what you guys see, my ability to compete. And I'm gonna make sure that when I compete, I'm competing even better than what I did when before it. So I have to focus a little bit more. I have really even told you guys, like when I shoot, it feels like I'm on a boat. So like, I'll look up at the rim and the rim is just shaking, it's moving around. I don't even see the rim clearly. Even to this day, 12 months out of my surgery, I'll look at the hoop after going like fast and I can't see it, it's just blurry. And I just shoot the ball. It's just all based off of second nature. Like, and that's something like, I don't know if that's ever gonna come back. Doctor said I gotta wait 18 months is usually the point where I'm gonna be able to see if I'm, you know, can get fully back to normal. But here 12 months out, like, I still can't see the target, still can't see the rim when I'm moving. Like, and that's something that I don't allow that to affect my outcome. I push through it, I fight through, I persevere, and I take a lot of pride in my ability to not use that as an excuse. And I don't want you guys to fall back on excuses. Okay, fight through, break barriers, break excuses. Don't allow yourself to fall prey to just saying, hey, I have this problem and that's the reason why I can't succeed. I wasn't gonna let something that happened to me, something negative that happened to me, set me back to where I was gonna feel defeated, I was gonna feel sorry for myself. I wanted to prove that I was gonna overcome, and not just overcome, but thrive through this situation. God put this tumor in everything in my life that allowed me to find out about this tumor in order for me to tell you that uncommon situations happen to people with uncommon faith. And because my faith was so unwavering, because I literally knew from the moment that I found out, it may have been scary, and I didn't really showcase that very much. It may have been scary to start off, but I quickly realized everything in my life that I had to worship for, and that I was so enthused and excited to be with and to be around my family and the opportunities. Like literally when I made this public that I had a brain tumor, so many people reached out to me. Probably one of the most scary moments after my surgery, like I was already deaf in my right ear, like my balance was trash. I had to relearn how to walk pretty much like right after the surgery. But 2 weeks after, when I'm driving with my family, driving home to Orange County from Arizona, my face just went paralyzed. So like acoustic neuroma, the tumor is sitting on your facial nerve, acoustic nerve, and vestibular nerve. And because of the swelling, my face just went paralyzed. So the whole right side of my face just couldn't move. So like I would talk or like try to eat and the right side just wouldn't move, only the left side would move. Probably one of the most disheartening moments of my life. Like I spend my entire day like in front of people, communicating, talking, having conversations, developing relationships, and now I felt like the one thing, my face, my ability to speak, I know it sounds vain, but I relied so much on my ability to communicate that I now was stripped from it. I couldn't even eat without biting my lip every single other bite. And 2 weeks after the surgery where I think like, okay, like this is all bearable, this happens. And like for a whole month, my face, right side of my face was paralyzed. And literally as like an act of God, like from so many prayers that were sent from myself and my family, so much time and acupuncture and really like focus on taking care of my body, the swelling was able to go down and I was able to regain full function in my face. It's still a little delayed and still a little not as strong as my left side. It's crazy like how much I was able to go through, you know, my body was able to go through during that time. And like on top of that, when I first had my brain surgery, and for the first month and a half, I had it April 16th and my daughter was born June 3rd. And for literally those of you that don't understand the turmoil, like the crazy emotions that happen when you have a child, like from your spouse or your partner, like emotions were just haywire. And now a month and a half after my surgery, we bring a baby girl into the world, and now like I'm having to juggle rehab, getting all these things, necessary steps done, like my rest, my rehab, like I had to take naps every day in the middle of the day, but we also have to take care of a new baby, and I have a toddler on the way. Like looking back, and it was my busy season for like my NBA off season, like looking back, like my family is probably some of the strongest people on this planet. My wife, one of the strongest people on this planet, and I appreciate and love her so much. because of all she had to go through, for the people she had to take care of, for having to take care of me, who was a bigger hassle and headache than my 2-year-old son and my newborn daughter. Having to take care and make sure that my son and my daughter were fed and changed and taken care of. Like all these things that, kind of like landed on her plate that she had to, pick up the pieces for. Like I look back and I take very few times to reflect on these moments, but like now as a reflection point, it gives me a chance to really look back and say like, holy crap, we went through absolute hell for the past year to get to a point where now I can actually take care of myself and help out around the house. And I love my wife more than ever for what she had to go through during this time. The amount of impact that social media has on other people who may be going through, like I said, something that is a similar situation or something that may be bigger, in their lives. So it gave me an opportunity to actually communicate and talk to these people and tell them a little bit about my story and to offer an extension of who I am as a person and be like, hey, I will help you out through anything that you're going through. Whether it be prayer, whether it be just talking to somebody, confiding in somebody, whether it be just listening to somebody. But from a year out from surgery, I just wanted you guys to know that I'm still living my life as if every day is my last. So I wake up, I tell my family how much I love them. I go to work, I make sure that everybody understands that I am literally, it's about my presence when I'm there in the gym and the relationships that I establish. I come home, I'm present with my family, and like those are the moments that you guys need to live by. Don't take anything for granted. Okay, I've been a healthy dude my entire life, never had anything wrong with me. And I relied so much on my health just being there, something that literally I wasn't symptomatic, I didn't even have a single symptom, but I relied so much on my health that I just kind of fell back on that foundation. And I took for granted a lot of the things that, like balance, like it was just always something that I was really good at and be balanced, or hearing, like something I took advantage of, like it was just the normal, like the norm. And now I don't take a single thing, every smell that I take in, like smelling my wife cook, like every little thing means so much to me. And I want you guys to live with that amplified purpose. Like that's one thing, like near-death experiences shouldn't change you, but they should amplify the things that are around you. I'm excited for this next year. The doctors still are giving me about 9 more months before I'm fully recovered, but I'm excited to be able to share with you my story and be where I am today, because I know God's got me through this whole thing, and I know that there's a bigger purpose for the situation that was had. God bless you guys. If you guys want to talk, if you guys have similar things that are going through, send me a message, shoot me a text, 949-267-5178. And I'd love to talk to you about what you're going through, because I'm here for you guys. Love y'all. God bless. Talk to you soon.